Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody around the world. I'm delighted to start this IFMBE CED 2021 Global Webinar Series. And the first webinar of the year is on the subject of COVID-19, vaccines, and global clinical engineering. How can we help? This is an exciting time, and we have tremendous amount of material to share with you. And I'm looking forward to moderate this webinar together with Dr. Andrew Furman, Executive Director of Clinical Excellence with ECRI, and he will moderate this webinar with me. He has other obligation later on. He will be excused and be replaced by Dr. Elliot Sloan. I believe that this subject of the webinar is so appropriate to begin our educational series because it's a year now that the whole world begin to hear about this severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, better known as SARS-CoV-2, that caused the COVID-19. To be able to better understand what we have learned over the past year, we invited a highly esteemed and qualified faculty that both Dr. Furman and myself are honored and proud to share the time with today for you. They will be representing not only national level, but international and multinational level of approaches to the discovery, distribution, production, and administration of the vaccine, what we have learned about it, and what are the challenges. The webinar objectives are to educate all of you about the science, engineering, and knowledge about vaccines relating to the COVID-19. With this knowledge, then, we can identify challenges, not only to production, but maybe more importantly to the supply chain, what we now know as the cold chain, and how to manage population in the vaccination process. The monitoring of the efficacy of treatment and the gap in the tools that are needed will be covered by the faculty. We want to inspire clinical engineers to become engaged and develop solutions by understanding the needs and the opportunity we're facing, and to become a source within their healthcare system, regardless of the level of resource, regardless of the capacity or the location. And once they understand the challenges and they will know how to approach them, then better solution will come even at low resource country. Next. So, some observations that the faculty will cover today are the issue that we know that healthcare systems around the world are overloaded with demand for patient care isolated spaces, for changing best practices from what conventional was, and from adoption workaround while facing a roller coaster of sudden increase in patient flow, in prediction of the best practice that is the practice of the day, a lot of confusion and poor evidence for the optimal modality and its efficacy. So what is the best practices? We'll learn about it today. Patient and staff safety is fundamental for the provision of healthcare everywhere. But you know very well that this is being challenged with the complex system, the processes, the lack of preparation, and the limit capacity to protect both patients and patient care provider. The continuous changes making it difficult to maintain staff competency and to understand the effective of sticking to care processes. As staff is not able to participate in skill development and similar other training needed, some of the outcomes are user dependent, and we need to be better than that. In the armament of pharmaceutical treatment that we will cover today, we have realized that there are ways that we can use warp speed approaches to development and and secure regulation. But at the same time, we are missing the buildup of public trust, and the priority for other drug development has been a challenge. For example, the FDA has a specific website page for scarcity of medication to be used in other diseases, neurological and oncology or cancer treatment. There's a specific page of medication that are in scarcity. So we have new demands, not only on manufacturing and storage, but also on logistic and distribution. And engineering innovation is required more now than ever before, and it's a cross-discipline and industry sector. And that's the point I believe that Dr. Andrew Furman will take up in his presentation this morning. Dr. Furman is a fellow of the American College of Emergency Medicine and has a master in medical management, also known as 3M. You thought this is just a tape industry, but it's actually a program that he graduated from. So it's my honor to invite Dr. Furman to give us the presentation about partnership and building collaborations. Andy?
Thank you, Yadin. And welcome, everyone. I practiced as an emergency physician for 18 years. I dedicated 15 of those 18 years to expanded roles in quality, safety, risk management, and leadership. This included roles such as quality and communication consultant, department director, quality and safety director, county medical society board member, and vice president of medical affairs. I focused much of my time and energy on working with and engaging physicians with the goal of decreasing physician burnout. What was so difficult over the years was trying to balance my goals and desires with the time constraints physicians and physician leaders had. I didn't want to add, to the stress and burden of those very people I was dedicating my career to help. What I found worked was evidence and data, published, peer-reviewed data and real-world provider-centric data. I think in many ways, whether they were academic or community-based, this dialogue piqued the interest of the scientists and analysts in them. Time was found, and this led to some great outcomes. Fast forward a few years, and I was fortunate enough to join ECRI. I was so intrigued by the vast array of talent and skills across the organization, all looking to promote effective evidence-based care. Little did I know when I started in January of 2020 what the next year would hold in store for me. And that brings me to today and an encouraging plea as we see the ups and downs of vaccine news across the world, as you kind of see here in the slide. Where is the data? What is the truth? Clinical engineers want to know. Health system administrators want to know. Government officials want to know. Physicians want to know. We have this shared desire to know the truth from fiction and get us closer to the normal we all long to have again. And we all have contributions to share this truth and make stopping COVID-19 a success. If you never felt like you had an avenue to engage physicians in the past, you do now. They are interested how you can help. Hand in hand, you can stand up together for evidence-based best practice. Next slide, please. So organizations like ECRI, can serve up this best research evidence. You are here in the clinical expertise area. The clinician will know more when they are introduced to what you know and what you do. So as we listen today, my action for you is to share something you learned with a physician or physician leader colleague because they want to know. Back to you, Yadin.